These top creators have faced burnout.
This year, though, I burnt out in June, July, maybe.
Criticism. Let's see the disrespect. Let's see the disrespect that my man did. And the pressure of keep going.
I made more money this year than I made in any other year as a content creator.
You see, the real secret to success as a creator that you're going to see in this video isn't about your content, the numbers, or even your talent. It is the ability to survive the moments no one talks about, like this one.
This year for me, it's been the slowest year of growth I've ever had. Like borderline embarrassing, because I'm like, yo, like I'm posting, I know this content is great. I know if the algorithm put this in front of 100,000, a lot of those people are going to like this. A lot of these people are going to comment, but it's like, it's just not getting in front of anybody. So it was definitely frustrating, but on the back end, right? And this is the part that I really hope people understand. Like, I made more money this year than I made in any other year as a content creator.
Right? First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
You right, Kevin.
He saw that, people. He was about to speed past that. He was like, yo, it's my lowest growth, but the most paid I've been. We staying right there, homie. Break down the emotional roller coaster with that.
It's been a season of realizing, okay, like asking myself, are you really passionate about what you're doing? Is this bigger than the numbers for you? You know, what does this mean to you beyond the you know, what is the vanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Does this mean more than the vanity? And it took me a long time because I think my numbers started going down at the beginning of the year, maybe like around like February. And I started noticing like consistent like drops and so on and so forth. And I'm like, man, like what is going on? And I had a lot of times where I'm like, all right, maybe I just need to experiment with something new. And then you're experimenting and those things aren't performing well. And it's like, okay, well, maybe maybe my content's not performing well because I swung the pendulum a little too far and I turned too far away from what I was doing before. Maybe my audience is confused now. Maybe this. And it's like you go through this whirlwind of, you know, questions and confusion and you start to get these self-limiting beliefs. And then, you know, I regrounded myself by taking a break, right? Like there was a season where I took a break away from Instagram. Like I wasn't really posting for like a couple of weeks. And I was just kind of like trying to find myself as a creator again. And the conversation I had with myself was, okay, you're trying to perform for the algorithm and you've lost touch with your people. Like just focus on creating for your people and create for the love of creating. When it becomes more about vanity rather than value and about, you know, things other than purpose, that's when I start to lose myself. So I took time away so I could just get my mindset back into just serving. Just serve, bro. Mm-hmm. Just serve. Just serve. Just post it because you know there's value. Post it because you know it's going to impact somebody in a positive way. And that's it.
I watch and observe what goes on in culture and social media. I'm always watching. And one of the things that I noticed when it comes to burnout, like 100 out of 100 creators burn out at some point. And I realize most burnout happens. Nothing goes up and to the right forever, right? So most burnout happens when either if nothing is popping off or if things are going well and all of a sudden it plateaus and then it just either starts declining or whatever. A lot of people don't have the stomach for those kind of seasons, which by the way, 100 out of 100 creators have those down seasons. You just
absolutely.
And but what I realized, that's when burnout happens. And when you're in it, not only for yourself and like for your numbers, more money, more followers, more likes, more engagement, whatever. When you're truly in it to serve others, I feel like you cannot burn out in a way. And for me, it's partially the audience. But now that I got 2 little kids, I literally can't burn out, right? It's not even an option. And so like, that's why I'm always trying to go through that lens, create to serve. And what the reason why I talk about the things that I talk about is for that. Like my entire mission as a creator is to keep people, you know, a step ahead of the curve when it comes to tech, AI, like what's important to know for creators and entrepreneurs, specifically at that intersection of technology and creativity.
Each and every one of these people really just starts where they can. And so for me, I think especially early on in like trying to start businesses when I was a teenager or in university, I would always start out with these huge goals of what I was going to build. You know, I wanted to build like the next Nike or like $1 billion company. And I had like these huge dreams. And it's great to dream. But sometimes the dream is so huge that it like stops you getting started. And for me, funny enough, the show, like the Calum Johnson show, is the only thing that I've started where the goal in the beginning was like embarrassingly small. Like it wasn't to be the biggest show on the planet or any of these things. It was just to record 10 episodes. And so like that.
Why just 10?
That bar was, well, it was a challenge from my, I had like a career coach at the time. She's still my coach actually. And she challenged me at the beginning of 2022 just to record 10 episodes.
Okay.
And that was like a low enough bar where I was like, okay, you know what? I can do that. I can take out all of the procrastination and the overthinking and we can get to it. And it's actually been an incredibly important lesson to me, which is like, it's so important to just start where you can. And that step one, and you start building momentum and it just goes from there. And yeah, 10 episodes has become nearly 200. You know, like you said, I think we're getting close to like 13 million downloads on the show. I think great things are small.
This year, though, I burnt out in June, July, maybe. And I had all kind of health issues where my energy was just depleted and I could not figure out why. It was like, I don't really eat terrible. I was trying to work out, but I didn't have the energy. Came to find out, went to get some blood work, and I found out that I was vitamin deficient. Took care of that, and I got my energy back. I haven't felt like this since 2013. I've been going to the gym. Today was my 49th consecutive day in the gym doing high-intensity cardio. Tomorrow will be day 50. Day 50 tomorrow.
Come on. Hold on.
Yeah. But all of that stuff, like, this feels like a break. Thank you. This feels like a break right now because I get to wake up, and I never want to ever take this for granted being an entrepreneur. I get to wake up and decide, where do I want to disrupt next? In the most positive way possible. What do I want to disrupt next? Do I want to have some conversations in the hip hop space of things that I see that need some that I feel like I can give some value to? Do I want to just sit up here and make some music and then document that on a live stream? This is also the first year after I sat down with Punch from TDE, and he gave me some advice during that interview that I've been just going forward with it.
You're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
I thought it was a foregone. No, I promise it wasn't. I promise, because it's funny. You know what's funny? I feel like you told me something very similar too. In that,
No.
you told me this. You told me, you said, why?
We're not talking about me.
Yourself.
We're not talking.
You said why are you limiting yourself? So the message he gave me was this. He said, all that stuff that you do, Curtis, do it all. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, rap, produce, content. He said, do it all. People got to understand how powerful of a voice that is, first of all, right? As TDE president, is somebody that I've known for over 20 years now. And first of all, having the interview was something that I was just like, this is the biggest interview that I had in my career, first of all. But second of all, him saying that on the interview, was a live interview, was very intentional. And I asked him, I said, well, what makes you stress that? Because he's like, so many of us confuse we confuse what was the message? You confused old with new in the wrong ways. And that's something could be, you could be an older rapper, for instance, but your ideas must stay new. The moment the ideas are no longer new, then you've aged yourself out. It's not simply because of your age. And I think as a rapper, we're all conscious of that. Me in my 40s, when we turn 41 this next month, we're very conscious of these things about our place in hip hop. But he said he heard this message from LL Cool J. It's not about the age, it's about the ideas. And are the ideas actually still new and vibrant and young in their essence? I took that And I said, why am I limiting myself? If I feel like producing a beat today, I can do that. Go do it. If I feel like rapping, I've been rapping for 20 years. Why not do that? If I feel like making content, and this is all supporting the same ecosystem that is Curtis King TV, who's going to tell me that I can't? If I take care of my responsibilities and my family in the process, who's going to tell me that I can't? Not somebody who's high achieving, I'll tell you that.
Let's see the disrespect. Let's see the disrespect that my man did to the GOAT.
My music didn't just break streaming records. This is the opening act for Puerto Rico's economic development. And at this point, the Good Bunny might as well run for governor. This finale of his 30-day residency is going to be remembered forever. And it's not because it shattered Amazon's viewership records. It's not because the show commemorated the 8th anniversary of Hurricane Maria's landfall. And it's not because J-Lo's ex Mark Anthony had the audience in tears. It's because Bad Bunny is leveraging his influence and Amazon's billions to rebuild Puerto Rico.
We can stop. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to go about. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing else.
Look at the comments. Wait till
oh no! Listen, if you say anything, I'm Puerto Rican. If you say anything bad, about Mark Anthony, it's a wrap for you. It's so bad. I saw it. I saw some of them before. Why you?
I was like,
we love us some J-Lo, but we love us some Mark Anthony. You know what I mean?
I won't speak on Mark Anthony ever again.
Break down the mental strength you have to have for the perspective that you like give out on a regular basis. Like how is your mental, first off? Now that, I mean, probably better now the baby's here. It's like, before maybe, but the baby's here. We're great. But like, how's your mental in that situation? And like, how do you deal with that?
You know, I grew up in Louisiana, and my family's from a small town called Lake Charles. And, you know, there's been many a times playing spades around the table, dominoes around the table. And I've just always been around very strong personalities and very strong opinions. And so to me, the way that I communicate and the way that I show up online is very natural to how I was raised, which is, but also the added context is, it's also my experience being in corporate experiences in certain rooms with certain companies, because it's not like this everywhere, where there is a healthy dynamic of challenging and sharing ideas in a creative process. That very much aligned with how I grew up, whether, you know, aunties, cousins, uncles, debating points about certain things in culture, to trying to get to the best idea in a room with other creators and marketers and executives from different places. And what I found before I started getting that way, because you remember you and I had a phone call, a year ago or so. And you know, I was calling you to get, you know, some just some guidance. And I recognized as I was looking through a lot of content, I found that there was a lot of folks sharing information, explaining information. I didn't see so much of an invite to the audience to be kind of help shape the conversation, because I think what folks don't realize, a lot of what I'm doing is I'm shaping a conversation to begin in my comment section a lot of the time. Like I'm not covering the whole thing. And then the other point is, I am not interested in being agreeable. I am interested in the conversation. And what that requires of me.
First of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
You said just strong bar. I love how these people just let me say a strong bar and let me just keep going. No.